I had such a wonderful time yesterday. I have a friend in his 70s who's had quite a life. He had an early experience where he adopted a little girl from Eastern Europe. You know, the orphanages there, how many hundreds of children were left in cribs. And oh, this little girl, when he adopted her, she had such a time of it as far as knowing how to be attached or close to him. She'd been in the crib over 2 years without any touch, and she was often afraid to even look at him or let him come within 6 feet of her. Oh, yes, it was wonderful to hear him reminisce about adopting her, his first child. She's a lawyer now. She does a lot of really wonderful activism for adoption, international adoption. And then there's, he adopted a young man now. He's in college. He's on a basketball scholarship. He had been in Sudan. He was a child soldier there, older when he was adopted, and had HIV positive. You know, he doesn't talk much, but once in a while he'll say a monosyllabic dad. And he has a kiddo who's from Mongolia with autism. And that little guy, he hits his head sometimes, so he has to wear a helmet when he gets overwhelmed. It's just too much. And then, believe it or not, his wife died from cervical cancer, and he remarried. And he and his wife, they did never expect to have children, but they were surprised when she became pregnant and gave birth to fraternal twins. It was so out of the blue. It was so unexpected. Oh, and they're beautiful, beautiful. They have a golden quality to them. Kind of golden hair and golden light in their eyes, a golden smile. And he loved telling me on his birthday memories about, he actually got out a hat box he'd had, or it was some kind of old, I think it might have been a shoe box actually. It was shaped like a, shoe box probably, maybe for boots. He got it out and he showed me their first, one of them had written a Valentine, real little, just little mementos like that, Christmas cards and a couple of photos. And, you know, he just cherished every single one. Even though you'd think, well, these kids have a lot of troubles, you know. I bet it was really hard on the dad with these kids growing up with their traumatic experiences. And no, you know, when he talks about them, he just is aglow with love. He feels that each gift, each card, each memory is exactly wonderful, the way his children love him, are everything to him. I guess that's why I struggle sometimes to understand why we don't get along amongst ourselves here on the faith front, because, you know, the true God delights in all the ways we love him, which is what faith is meant to be, the ways we bring our sense of worship, our sense of formal reverence. That's what liturgy and prayer and singing, all of it's meant to be ways to express our devotion to God. So, you know, in heaven, I shared earlier this week about how heaven is essentially a vibration, and that we first find that vibration within ourselves. And it serves to anchor us as the earth goes through movements, its own kind of struggles to also become heaven, light more than density, to know beyond duality who we are. This frequency is not about who's doing what with such protocol and technicality and name. It's about the pure heart. The pure heart. Like the little autistic guy who hits his head, but man, does he love his dad. They would do equine therapy over the years, and whenever it was time for the little boy to get off the horse, he'd put out his arms for his dad to help him off. And that moment always said it all as far as trust, the bond between the father and the child. So first and foremost, it's so important we begin, if we truly want to do this journey together into heaven. Understanding heaven first is accessed within. It is the frequency where we do not judge each other for our faith. We appreciate, just as God appreciates, all the ways that we love Him. It says in sacred scripture, specific to my tradition, that we are made in God's image. Well, on the far side, we have folks who've taken that to be God, to be godless. But in the middle, somewhere in the middle, there's us loving God in the image of our countries, our cultures, making music and burning fragrant incense and dancing and wearing the vestments, the clothes that celebrate the image of who we are as a country, as a culture, and as a faith that has grown from that, in the image of God. And so this has been a week of really beginning to understand that heaven, the Pure Land, first is something we know within. And we commit to keeping out all disruptions from the internet to television to all those patterns of behavior that make it even harder to access the Pure Land, that is the state of the pure heart. We come home to our humanity. We see each other in our faith, in our worship, just as siblings would see each other in that family of my friend, with kindness, with appreciation. That's where heaven is, right here.